Workers at Canada Post will begin voting on the Crown Corporation's latest and final contract offer today.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers, CUPW, is urging its members to reject the proposal. After more than a year and a half of talks, the company's at an impasse with the union that represents roughly 55,000 postal workers. The vote comes after Federal Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu asked the CIRB to step in and put the latest offer to a vote. Now, the offer does include a wage hike of about 13% over 4 years, but also adds part-time workers to Canada Post, saying that those are necessary to keep the Postal Service afloat. So for more on the vote, let's bring in Mark Lubinski, president of Toronto Local CUPW. Appreciate your time this morning here. Could you just sort of go over the reasons why specifically CUPW is suggesting its members reject this proposal, since Canada Post says this is its latest and final offer?
Well, good morning, Nick and Jan. Thank you for having me here today. Canada Post always has said this is their last final offer. We're telling them, our members, there's a lot of rollbacks in this offer. Creation of these part-time flex jobs, both on the weekend and during the week, is very dangerous precedent. We need good jobs for Canadians, and Canada Post needs to have those good jobs. We just want to have decent jobs that we're able to support our families and retire with dignity. Canada Post wants to create a gigafied economy with a lot of gigafied part-time workers. We need good, stable jobs, and the Canadian Postal Worker, has offered solutions to Canada Post. We offered full-time jobs where full-timers would be rotating on the week, during the week. So there are many solutions there, but Canada Post is a dirty negotiator, and they're not looking out for the interest of the postal workers, who are the middle class.
So, Mark, break it down for us. It appears that the final offer includes a wage increase of about 13%. Are you saying that the union is happy with this, but the main sticking point is those part-time workers on the weekend? You want them to be full-time, correct?
Well, no, we're not happy with this 13% increase. Is over 4 years. We got to understand, we already received 5% of it for a wage increase 2 years ago. That was the rate of inflation at that time was 5%. So no, we're not happy with the wage increase. That wouldn't even put us at par. We'd actually be losing money because of the cost of inflation and so forth. So we are looking for a larger pay increase. But yes, you're correct. It's those part-time flex jobs. Those we need decent jobs for Canadians and postal workers, and we need to be able to survive and feed our families with one job. Canada Post is creating these part-time flex jobs. So it would take 3-4 jobs just to support your family, paying the rent, especially in a city like Toronto.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the cost of living has certainly been a major factor, across our country, Mark, for the last little while. But there's also some realities. A lot of people might be watching this morning, Mark, and saying, well, I've gone kind of paperless billing. Do we need Canada Post? I've got packages coming from Amazon and other delivery companies here. How is Canada Post expected to compete with these other entities, or the fact that so much, business and sort of stuff that would have been typically mailed postal service has now gone online? How do you do that? How do you compete with the realities of today's market with what you're looking for from the union perspective here, Mark?
Well, we agree with that. Canada Post needs to deliver on the weekend with the parcels and the packets. But, we're mandated back to work because Canadians spoke up and said the postal system is important to Canadians. There's a lot of money made through direct mailing, advertised mailing, large volume mailers. There's all sorts of profits being made. And you need to understand Canada Post owns part of the competition. We own Pure Later. 93% of it is owned by Canada Post. So a lot of that business going there is going to Canada Post. Unfortunately, there's 7% private investors that are making huge profits right now.
Okay, Mark, we'll see what happens later today. Unfortunately, we're running short on time, but really appreciate your time this morning. Mark Lubinski, president of Toronto Local CUPW.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.